All right, I know it's an early show, but I'm going to jump in and do a little bit of this Bedminster BS before I have to race off to sound check. That's right, I'm crowbarring the shows in, I don't care. Hit the like, everybody. Okay, let's get started. Look, back off, man. How close do you have to be? Hi, welcome to the show, everybody. I know it's early. I know you're weary. No, that's not how the song goes. It goes the exact opposite direction. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed my little extra image that I made. Whoops, that's the wrong one. Hold on. Look at all the things have gone back to normal. Let's just hold on. Back to you. There's chat room. Hi. That I made using, let's see, go back there to preview mode. Excellent, thank you. And change this guy to the secondary monitor, and we're all good, and that's excellent. And then we'll go over here to my effects and mess with my camera, because that's what I do, and turn on the green screen, and select the background, and put that there, and off we go. And now I can jump over and go to publish. Whee! There it is. That's the image I made using Elon Musk's own ridiculous piece of software that he's made. This is Donald Trump hiding in a box of Fruit Loops. I initially wanted like him wearing it like a kid's costume, you know, with the box of the face. That's what again, the art of prompting I have yet to master. But in the meantime, off we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get started because I don't have time for anything else. This is Trump giving his little speech in front of boxes of Fruit Loops and I guess bacon. In Bedminster, by the way, trying his best to look like he's president right now. Because let me be clear. When he could argue that the economy looked like shit, and he could argue against the policies of Joe Biden and therefore Kamala Harris, he could afford, in many ways, to go, stand out in front of in Mar-a-Lago in his very nice fancy building and claim that, look, they're trashing the country, but I know what opulence is. If you want a great country, I'm the dude, right? Meanwhile, let me turn off this version of things. Meanwhile, now that the economic picture is fantastic and is getting better all the time, which is very counterproductive for him in terms of, and by the way, I think I'm live. Chat room, say hello. Are you guys there? I think we're all good. Yeah, I just don't see the chat in my little chat comments window, but it will probably, I can fix that. I just think I have to open up this other thing real quick. And that would be that. There you go. Hopefully, go back to here and then go back to here. There you are. Now I can see you guys. Hi. Now that the country is looking better and better while he's arguing this country decline thing, now he's doing stuff in front of Bedminster because it looks like he's at the White House. This is specifically made to look like he's standing in front of the White House. He's still president. Maybe it's just to quell the QAnoners who think he's running the white hats this whole time. God knows. But anyways, this is to make him look like he's president because things are going too well and he wants credit for it. That's why he's saying things like he got insulin down when he absolutely did, the cost of insulin down, he didn't. So here we go. This is him and his little booklet. Also,
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Nice to see you. We have a lot of interesting things to talk about. We have
he so doesn't want to do this.
very specific things.
I don't want to talk about specific things. I think being specific is boring. But my handlers are saying if I don't do it, I'm screwed.
So we'll take our time. We have plenty of time.
We'll take our time.
I think you have plenty of time. I hope you like the weather. It's very nice. Nice place. Nice location. And I do think.
What do you mean? Between the Earth and the sun?
For being here. And we don't have.
It's a lovely location. You were just slightly downwind from where I buried my ex-wife.
Very much heat. So I'd say it's perfect weather for this. The rain is not imminent based on the fact that there are no clouds.
I wanted to be with you all along and talk about the weather, 'cause specific shit just bores me and I wanna ramble. Now, what was I talking about?
So it's really nice.
Thank you. Thanks for letting us know the weather is nice. We're in it, you know. We're standing right here. But that's not for you guys. That's for the who's at home who think that I'm lying about the weather the way I lie about crowd sizes.
Really nice. And
Not just nice. It's really nice. It's 10 times as nice as they say it is. It's as nice as immigrants are bad.
let's go over some big facts and some very substantial truths.
As opposed to those boring, normal truths. You know, gravity, Earth being round, yawn.
About where we stand as a country because we're a failing nation because of the way it's been run for the last 3.5 years.
Yeah, I understand that like companies don't even have the ability to print the name of the product on the boxes anymore. The box behind them of Honey Nut Cheerios, that was printed in the mid-90s. And the country's been on such a downswing that they now have to draw it in crayon. It's just sad.
Nation. People are coming into our country by the millions and millions and millions.
It's 3 million. That's a lot less than he said before.
We have no idea who they are, where they.
Well, then how do you know they're not Americans? If you don't know who they are and they're coming into the country in the millions, maybe they're just millions of Americans who are traveling overseas because it's a great time to travel and see the world. I mean, maybe for all you know, they're just Olympic athletes coming back home. We have no idea. If you have no idea, I'm just saying, it just would sell your point a little better if you had some idea.
I'm from. But we're also a failing economy. Kamala Harris is a radical California liberal.
It says so right here on this boring piece of paper that I'm being forced to read by Stephen Miller, who hates me and loves me. Kind of like Melania, but without the love part. Says, I mean, what more evidence? It's written right there on my own notes.
Who broke the economy?
You've seen the stock market and wages and unemployment. And what, if this is broken, what is fixed exactly? Because I think that's it. I think you like an economy where, as it were, the fix is in.
Broke the border and broke the world, Frank.
Kamala Harris, the woman who broke the world. When is that Bowie song coming out? I know he demoed it before he died. There's got to be an AI Bowie song, The Woman Who Broke the World.
Very destructive to the entire world because...
Well, yeah, she broke the damn thing. Does anybody know how she did it? Yeah. So you're saying, look, what I'm hearing from you is women are incredibly strong, and if they don't manage their strength, they could kill us all.
As we go, oftentimes the world goes.
Okay. Back up. All right. There's too much. There's too much right out of the gate. You said she already broke the world. So if she broke the world, then the United States is already broken, and you can't break it in the future if the world is already broken, and it's broken because the United States was broken first. There's no syntax in this concept at all. You're just being a moron. This is, by the way, I understand that Joe Biden is the most powerful president we've ever had. I get it. I understand because apparently, according to you, he has total immunity to do whatever the hell he wants, and your Supreme Court made it so. So be careful how you use that power, Joe. It's, with great power comes great responsibility. But I had no idea that Kamala Harris was the most powerful vice president in the history of history. Also, don't forget to get your free Fight silver coin when you buy a bunch of gold from these dickheads. Fight for your retirement. What retirement? The world's broken. Who's retired in a world gone mad?
She destroys everything she touches.
Has anybody checked on Doug right now? I'm worried about the first or the second gentleman right now. He's the soon-to-be first gentleman. I'm just saying, is he okay?
And if she wins, your finances in your country will never recover. You're never going to recover.
Never. Nope. I don't care. I know you're thinking, we're Americans. We're resilient. We fought back against, after the Great Recession, the Great Depression, World War II. We fought through the Cold War. We did all these things. But no, you cannot survive Hurricane Kamala.
A radical left person wants to put price controls all over the place, which will end up driving up your prices, not down your prices.
Trump has an echo? Why would there be an echo? Oh, I know why. I know why. I think I know why. Thank you.
Harris has just declared that tackling inflation will be a day one priority for.
By the way, it's just saying it's a day one priority, not a day one priority. It matters. It's a day one priority is a phrase. It's encapsulated. Never mind.
It's going to be day one.
It's going to be day one. It is day one of several hundred.
But day one really for Kamala was 3.5 years ago. Where has she been?
She's been the vice president. Now, obviously, this is the same attack he used on Biden in 2020 because there were things he wanted to do during the Obama administration, but he was the vice president and not the president. And in this particular case, same thing goes for Kamala Harris. She's saying what she would do as president, not as vice president. This is an attack he uses all the time. Now, granted, it's an attack no one can use on him because he never was in office before he was in office and fucked everything up, but also Mike Pence never got a chance to become the follow-on to this ticket because this asshole tried to kill him. I think is really.
And why hasn't she done it? Why hasn't she done it?
Because she's vice president. And vice president only has so much power. And by the way, they have done it. So, yeah.
I hear her complaining all the time.
All the time. So all she does is complain. Laugh and complain. This is her two defining characteristics.
She was the border czar, but she didn't do anything. It's the worst border czar in history. There's never been a border czar so bad.
It says say border czar a bunch of times. Doesn't matter the context. Just rattle it off so you hear border czar a lot. So you just get that. People start saying border czar as in, let me use it in a sentence. Kamala Harris wasn't the border czar. Like that.
She's been unbelievable in terms of her badness to.
She's been unbelievable in terms of her badness. And by the way, I would like to say for the record that I will be referring to her instead of Madam President as her badness. Her badness will be here in just a moment. If you can please sit down, her badness will begin speaking in a minute. It's Miss Harris if you're nasty, and Donald, you're disgusting, so you don't even get to say Madam President, her badness.
Of our allies, some of our great allies, you know who I'm talking about?
No, I don't really. I don't know who you're talking about. It's especially hard with you, because I'm guessing to you it means what? Russia, China, and North Korea, and Iran?
Here is the record of
Somebody yelled Israel, by the way. Just in case there was a maggot pop quiz.
economic calamity that Kamala is desperate for voters to ignore.
Tried saying calamity and Kamala in the same way. We spent all night trying to figure out a way to make Kamala calamity. All I came up with was calamari, and I have a guy who worked for me a long time ago whose name was Calamari. Fabulous dude.
She cast a tie-breaking votes that caused record inflation. She cast votes. She's trying to blame Biden, as you know.
No, she isn't. She's every time she speaks of him, it's in glowing terms. She's not blaming him for anything. Also, yes, she cast the tie-breaking vote. We're not in monetary inflation, dipshit.
So it was Biden, but I'm going to do a better job. But it was her.
He's playing her as a character just then. It's just important. He kind of zips in and out of personalities.
And if she wants to do a better job, she's still got 5 months left, right?
No, she's still vice president. She can only cast the tie-breaking vote in some stuff, and she certainly can advise Biden how to do things, but I'm guessing she's not gonna.
She can't do a better job because she doesn't know how to.
Oh, well, then I don't know even how you can blame her, though. Obviously, she's operating at the top of her ability.
And she's of a place in life where she wouldn't know what a better job is.
That made total sense. Yeah, yeah. She's at a place in life when she wouldn't know what a better job is. Because that happens when I hear when you turn 60. When you're 59, turning 60 is it's a tumultuous time, and it's very hard to deal with, and you can't even tell what a better job is at that point.
Going to destroy our country, and as a result.
Gonna. She broke the world, motherfucker. She broke it. It's broken. She broke America, and that broke the world. You can't now go back and say she's gonna, again, it sounds like she unbroke it. Are we talking about broke in the way that we talk about, like, fixing a stray cat, you know? Because in my estimation, stray cats aren't fixed, they're broken. Because you don't fix something that works. Yes? You break it. So if you take it, get your cat broken. Don't get your cat fixed, is my point. Is he inverting the meaning of those words again? Because he might be.
Of Kamala's inflation price hikes.
Trump is trying to fix the economy so it can't have little economies.
It cost a typical household a total of $28,000. These are numbers coming from government. They're not coming from me.
And you trust the government?
$28,000 she's cost a typical household.
Over the course of what? The last 4 years?
This inflation nightmare continues to cost.
Including the first year with COVID and not including now, which is with the fix in place?
Average American family, $1,100 every single month. $1,100. Again, government numbers. You're paying $148 more a month on food. It's every month. Average family.
Jesus Christ! If that's we're averaging $148 a month more on food. Where the fuck is the rest of the 10,000 coming? Oh, right, we all bought bigger houses and bigger cars with the stimulus, and so therefore making payments on those things because wages have gone up. I see.
Kamala and her ideas, and Joe Biden too. I mentioned him, but he's sort of gonzo. It all started with the debate. I should have been a little bit easier.
It had nothing to do with you. You weren't difficult at all. Look, let me be abundantly clear. They hit him. Somebody hit him with the Havana syndrome ray, and he was already tired from traveling a lot. Stupid. That's why he lost. He didn't lose because you kicked his ass. He tripped, and you fell across the finish line first in a two-person race. That's it. You didn't nail him. You didn't blow the whole thing up. That's why everybody talked about how badly he did, not how masterfully you handled it.
He said, your debate performance was horrible. I said, why? Because you forced him out of government. But I believe she'll be just as bad. I believe she's maybe in many ways going to be worse because he wasn't really a radical left, but she is. She's real. He wasn't real. So I think she's going to be.
He wasn't real? So Joe Biden's a figment of your imagination? I mean, I know he lives rent-free in your head, but...
in many ways, easier to beat.
Cool. Well, I don't know why you're worried then. You seem worried.
Then Joe Biden, what they did to him was disgraceful.
Wait, she'd be easier to beat than him? He beat you, stupid.
By the way, and it really is a threat to democracy. It was a coup by people that wanted him out. And
is that on the paper in front of him, or is he just rambling? Because I'm like... usually when he doesn't have teleprompters up, so he's got his notes right there. So he's looking down at his notes, but he's looking at them like somebody, like a kid in water wings hangs onto the side of the pool.
Didn't do not the way they're supposed to do it.
How are they supposed to do a coup? What, mustachioed, Portuguese-speaking rebels storm the place? That's a good old-fashioned coup. You know what I mean? You got to climb up the outside of the building You know, a good old maggot coup. You know, go in there and walk the Confederate flag through the Capitol. That's how you do a good coup. This was so. What, you asked him nicely and he agreed? What kind of coup shit is that?
$129.
You call that a coup? You call that a coup? No self-respecting rebel. But they didn't even have mustaches. And telling you, you have to step down or we're going to throw you into jail. Under the jail. And it's on the first floor. We're going to have to dig a basement. Fuck it. We just dig a pit under there and we bury you under the place. What? You step down nicely and you agree with my policies and we should probably just have a regular election? Well, where's the fucking fun in that? Let me tell you.
More on energy and $241 more. This is all per month on rent. So you have that, 148, 129, 241, and then many other increases.
Well, you'd have to get to $1,000 a month, and you're only about a third of the way there, dude.
You add it all up, it's thousands and thousands of dollars that.
Well, 1,000 and 1,000 is the idea. You already told us the number.
She and he have cost people. The cost of a typical monthly mortgage has doubled since I left office.
Yes, have you checked the square footage of the typical mortgage since you left office? Yes, you'll find it's larger.
Number was
because people decided to work from home and therefore they upgraded their house because they needed an office where they could do their show from. I mean, work.
3 months old from government, and now it's tripled. We had mortgage rates at around 2%.
By the way, that's in case you hear that in the background, I don't know if they can hear it, Rob. Maybe check.
I can't hear it in my.
Oh, good. There's a 3D printer in the background. Rob's printing the skeleton of my dream home. I'm so happy.
2%, and they're now at 10%, and you can't get a mortgage, so that means it's a lot higher than 10%.
You owe money you can't even afford to get in the first place. So I don't owe any money? No, you don't. You can't even, if you couldn't even get into debt out of your control if you tried right now. Really? Nope. Can't do it. There might have been a time when you could have gotten buried in debt, but not right now. Apparently, they are waiting until they can put some protections in place where lenders can't take advantage of you and destroy your life before they allow you to start, lower the numbers and let you, get it to where people are buying again. Also, just saying we have the lowest interest rates in the developed world anyways.
And I guess it is whatever they want to give over the money, and that's a lot more than 10%. So when you think about double, they've actually quadrupled or more than that.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I mean, I owe so much money I didn't borrow on money that I didn't borrow. It's unbelievable. The interest I'm paying on money I haven't borrowed is I don't know how I'm going to deal with it.
That quadrupled, which really kills the American dream for young people. Young people are being devastated by what they've done to our country. Grocery prices have skyrocketed. Cereals are up 26%.
Cereals?
Bread is up 24%. Butter is up 37%.
Oh my God. Butter. I remember butter. I haven't had butter since 2018. You can't even get butter anymore. I don't even know. It's so expensive. Nobody even remembers how to make it. Yeah. I don't even know which end of the cow it comes out of.
Baby formula is up 30%.
Formula?
Flour is up 38%, and eggs are up 46%.
Eggs are up 46%. If you buy organic and you buy the 18 egg cartons and you buy them at Whole Foods and you don't go to Costco and where, by the way, all of his voters go. If there is a consistent thing amongst Trump voters, and I don't mean this idea that they're a bunch of hayseed Appalachians that are voting for the first time, that have no money and are hooked on oxycodone and all that shit, that's his base isn't that. His base is people who live in the villages and slightly younger than that. Those people.
Are up at much higher rates than that.
Yes, it's eggs are up 170 million %, and it's $8 an egg right now. It's the egg wars have along the Farallon Islands have expanded again, and the Irish and the English are back to shooting at each other in rowboats like they did in the 1800s.
Now,
by the way, great story if you ever want to go look it up. The egg wars between the English and the Irish off the coast of San Francisco, fighting for seabird eggs off the Farallon Islands, which many marine biologists believe taught great white sharks to jump because they would knock the boats over and eat the fishermen because they were tasty.
Is reportedly proposing communist price controls. She wants price controls. And if they worked, I'd go along with it too, but they don't work. They actually have the exact opposite.
Oh, if it was a good idea, you'd steal it from her, is what you're saying?
Impact and effect, but it leads to food shortages, rationing, hunger, dramatically more inflation. Their Inflation Reduction Act, by the way, was a disaster. It's what caused the inflation.
Yeah, it's not. It didn't, actually. Just saying, it did not. We don't have monetary inflation. There's not too much money in circulation. There's arguably too little. That's why you have to lower interest rates, so there's more money in the. That's why the dollar is worth $1.05. If you lower interest rates, then more money goes into circulation. We get the dollar being, I don't know, $1, and maybe even a little less in the international world, where you get it at like 98 cents. Then you get this kind of flow of capital moving a little. Yeah, that's if there was too much money in circulation, clearly the dollar wouldn't be worth more than $1.
Inflation Reduction Act was a con job. They actually.
Ivermectin. Have you got worms? If you're a Trump supporter and you've been to one of his rallies, you do. That's right. If you walked around even with thick-soled shoes at any of Donald Trump's rallies, more than likely you've got worms from eating the food or even shaking hands with some of the people who, frankly, don't wash. Anytime you meet another maggot and you're shaking hands and going, hey, are you voting Trump? And they say yes, you've got worms. So grab yourself an ivermectin pack. You should basically, all maggots should be on an ivermectin drip at all times.
Admitted that it wasn't really for inflation that they did it. They don't know why they did it, but
it's okay. Well, then why did they do it? You can think that you can ask why did they didn't do it for why they thought they did it or why they told you they did it would be the argument. They told you they were doing one thing, but it was really just to help them and their friends or whatever the fuck, right? That would be the that would be the argument. But just saying they just passed a bill, bipartisan, by the way, and they don't know why they passed it. I guess is that where you're stuck with it? If you're just always arguing that your opponent is stupid, you also get rid of any reasons they might actually have for doing things. Like you have to pretend they don't. It's difficult.
They named it the Inflation Reduction Act, which was a very nice name. Got approved based on that.
Really? Nobody read it?
Unfortunately, people didn't understand it. I understood it. I said that.
I said that's not going to reduce inflation. It's going to do just the opposite. And my phone didn't work, and I was dialing. I kept getting, I don't know what it was. It was that weird the number you try to reach. Every time I would call Kevin or Steve or there's got to be a Mike, right? One of them's got to be named Mike. I'd call them up and I'd be like, watch out. But my phone wasn't working for the 3 months it went through committee.
It caused tremendous inflation, and it did, among other things, like energy.
It caused energy?
She's running on the Maduro plan. We call it the Maduro plan, like something straight out of Venezuela or the Soviet Union.
Didn't you say you were going to move to Venezuela because the crime has gone down? After this, that you told Elon Musk that you'd meet him in Venezuela after the election? Mainly because I think it has to do with extradition.
This announcement is an admission that her economic policies have totally failed and caused really a catastrophe for our country, and beyond that, a catastrophe in the world.
Yeah, just a mega catastrophe, because the word catastrophe just does not really explain. It is nice today, though. It's really nice. The weather's nice. People are out walking around doing stuff.
A little bit unrelated, but not totally unrelated. We have wars breaking out in the Middle East. We have the horrible war going on with Ukraine and Russia. All these things would have never...
What? We do? When did this happen? Also, it's a lot. I don't know if you've been keeping up with current events, pal, but Russia just got their ass kicked. The Ukraine-Russia war just got significantly less horrible.
Happened if I was president. Would have never, ever happened. And they didn't happen.
Weird.
Since Harris took office, car insurance is up 55%, and they just announced it's going to be substantially higher than that.
They did? They just announced it was going to be substantially higher than 55%? Is that what they announced? Who's they? The Biden administration and Kamala Harris took time off the going to rallies to have a little. They went to the press room and just announced. Are none of these numbers good enough for you? They're already bullshit. They're already nonsense. He's already making it up.
Then the next week, they expect big increases in car insurance. It's out of control.
Do they?
Insurance.
Who the fuck is they? Also regulated on the state level, so... And?
Thanks to Kamala's war on American energy, electricity prices are up 32%. Gasoline prices are up 50% and going higher.
Oh yeah, 50% does not sound like a lot to him. That's why they're down. You know, they've been down a bunch. So he's like, they're up from, based on what, by the way, when the world was shut down or normal driving?
Meanwhile, real incomes are down by over $2,000 a year. So the incomes for people are down $2,000 on average a year, government numbers. The typical American has seen a...
Yeah, meanwhile, again, cost and availability of stuff is gone down as well.
Percent pay cut under Kamala and Biden. Crooked Joe Biden.
Yeah, just say that. Crooked Joe. Doesn't matter. I spent so much time and other people's money trying to pin that on him, and now just saying it because it doesn't help. Just crooked doesn't work for. Can't do crooked Kamala. Can't do that. Kamala. That's what that sounds like. Kami. That's what we're gonna try next. By the way, I'm sorry I invented that because now it's everywhere.
Credit card debt has exploded by 50% under Harris to a record high. It's now at a record high. It's never been anywhere close.
Because more people have credit?
Since March, and by the way, people are...
Also, again, you'll notice there's a couple ways that credit card debt can go up. The people who had credit, say, up till about 10 years ago, only those people could get credit. Only those people could get credit cards. And if theirs went up, oh dear, because that means the people who are in the upper middle class, who have the most available credit, they're starting to put stuff on credit. That means they need it, and it's not because they're going on vacations and paying it off over time, which is oftentimes what happens again during the summer, which is why when people talk about it during the summer, they're just being assholes. It's like saying credit card debt has gone up between Black Friday and Christmas. Anyways, there's another way that credit card debt can expand is this way. So, because more people are able to have credit, and therefore they are able to buy more big ticket items and pay them off over time.
Start paying that, and it's not going to be a pretty sight for the next period of time. It could be
the next period of time. Could be a week. Could be a couple of eons.
Substantial time. Since March of 2022.
What, hold on. Back the fuck up.
And by the way, people are going to have to start paying that, and it's not going to be a pretty sight for the next period of time. It could be a substantial time.
It could be a substantial, what do you mean? Historically or a long time? A substantial period of time? Years?
Since March of 2022, the average middle-class household has lost $33,000 in wealth. How about that?
Well, they shouldn't leave it laying around.
33,000.
Where'd you have it last? That's what I would ask them. Oh, I know. You mean people who bought like Truth Social stock? Sure.
That's average.
It is average. Which means a bunch of your dumbass friends lost billions and the rest of us lost nickels. But you flatten that out over time and it's like, oh my God.
July alone, 350,000 people were added to the unemployment rolls. It's a lot of people. 350,000 people added to the unemployment rolls.
Okay. Once people start looking for work and re-entering the workforce, they are added to the unemployment rolls if you're actively seeking a job. If you lose a job and you're seeking another job, you're also there. But everybody who's on the unemployment rolls aren't people who were laid off or lost their job. It's a mix of people who left a job, quit a job, were fired from a job, there was downsizing, and people who are now out of college looking for a job or have finished their degree and are looking for a job.
And
by the way, that's just a normal conversation about these numbers. Everybody should know that. All I'm pointing out is that he has no fucking idea that that's how it works.
Think of that. That's in 1 month. That's in July. Virtually 100% of the net job creation in the last year has gone to migrants,
Virtually 100%. Okay, this is obviously going to be followed up by some insane Trump math.
Most of the job creation has gone to migrants. In fact, I've heard that substantially more than beyond the number of 100%. It's
more than all. A significant amount more than all. Like more, like every, more than every. It's like, you know what forever is? Okay, it's beyond forever. This is a number that is equal to like more than infinity. It's like a beyond the infinite number of finite numbers. Oh, I saw that one before, so, I got to enjoy it live. More than 100. Let's one more time. By the way, excellent hair today.
Beyond the number of 100%.
It's amazing. It's almost like it violates math as it exists.
Much higher number than that, but the government hasn't caught up with that yet. But virtually right now, as of the time they did this, virtually 100% of the net job creation in the last year has gone to migrants.
Virtually sounds a lot more tempered.
Harris gave work permits and Social Security numbers to more than 3 million illegal immigrants to steal jobs from Americans. So think of that.
They're not stealing jobs from Americans if they have work permits. They're able to compete with Americans for jobs, right? They can. If you have a work permit, you're not guaranteed work. Yeah? Yes?
And they're having a lot of problems with Social Security. I'm going to be the one to say
they are.
Social Security, but they're having a lot of problems with Social Security because under their system of putting all of these people into it, it's going to blow up and fail.
They're paying into it too. You'd have more people paying into. One of the problems we have with Social Security, dipshit, is that your generation is retiring and there aren't enough workers in the generation just behind you to make up for the extraordinary number of retirees. Now that evens out with Gen X and millennials and the like, and it'll be fine. but there aren't enough active workers paying into Social Security to deal with the number of boomers, that are retiring. So more people paying into Social Security right now will just increase the ability for them to be solvent for the payouts now. And then a good portion of immigrants, not all of them are staying. Never mind the people that, like, the fact that a lot of them are doing the kind of jobs that fucking kill you, so you don't make it to retirement.
Elected, Social Security will fail. It'll be a blow up like you've never seen before.
Why would it blow up immediately if it's a generational thing? What's the thing? What are they going to do? Why? And by the way, why would alleged communists, people well beyond socialist, why would they destroy Social Security? Why wouldn't they just convert everything into Social Security in the idea that they want everybody to be in? Never mind.
It'll be at a bank.
It's so stupid. It's just, I apologize. This is my fault. This is when I try to make sense of this shit.
Of the entire system, probably the nation itself. You don't have to imagine what a...
Wait, you started off saying she broke the fucking world. You can't say if, dumb, when she's already, it's fucked. You can't roll in like, okay, folks, we're fucked, pack your shit, get in the basement. The tornado is, it's already touched down across town. It probably is destroying most of the foodstuffs for the next year. You're probably just going to starve to death, no matter how much, food you have put away. You're kind of done. But, if you want to give it a shot, I suppose, hopefully, once the tornado passes, the wildfires won't fill the vents in your bunker with smoke and cook you and your family. But I mean, it probably will. But I don't know why you're stampeding. Where are you gonna go? Stop screaming. No one is coming to help. Okay? People don't know what a leader when they see one.
Kamala Harris presidency would be, because you're living through that nightmare right now, and it is a nightmare.
It is. It's a nightmare. Not for me or you. Most people. For him, though, I mean, he's a liar, but right now he's not lying. This America is a failing country for him. He is living a nightmare. The American dream is dead for him. So, again, he's a liar, but he ain't lying. It's just panic and paranoia.
It's a nightmare. And you're going to stop inflation, but we're going to have a crash, and we're going to have a crash like a 1929 crash if she gets in.
Really? I thought we were going to have that if Biden got in. What's the big difference between her and Biden economically? I mean, I know she's going to put her plan out this week. What's the huge difference that would throw I mean, I know you have economic plans that are completely different from hers that would throw a giant monkey wrench into everything, but
you saw a gentleman yesterday who got up, one of the top analysts in the world, Frank.
Yeah, that guy. Remember that guy? He got up yesterday. I was like, oh my God. You can't even, I don't know his name, neither does he, but you can barely even see him. There's just light emanating. He was like a economic angel. That guy, you remember? He stood up yesterday, he was like,
and said that if Trump isn't elected, he predicts, and he's predicting you'll have a stock market crash like 1929.
This guy, you'll have to forgive me. I don't, you're not saying his name, so I'm trying to, does he happen to have a giant long beard and a pointy hat? And does he go, hee when he talks? I'm just trying to picture, is he carrying around a giant book with predictions that he's written with a frozen piece of his own excrement as a crayon? In the ballpark?
He also said the only time and the only reason.
Oh, he did? He did? Who's he again? He did? He said this. He did. Who?
The stock market has gone up, even though it had some bad moments recently. Maybe because it looked like the race was going to be a little bit closer, but I think we'll take I think we'll take a substantial lead. You saw the polls come out today. We're leading in.
Oh, you think you'll take a substantial lead? Because you recognize you fucking ain't?
The polls, but you'll have a. I have a lot of friends over there. So.
That's nice. There brought some people over there because otherwise I get a little boring.
I don't think they're reporters, however, are they? This was supposed to be for reporters. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Who let these riffraff in here?
Thank you very much. When I left office, I handed Kamala and crooked Joe Biden a surging economy with no inflation.
A crashing economy with no future. Tens of thousands of Americans dying every month. No vaccine. No plan.
30-year
and a surrender deal with the Taliban.
Mortgage rate was around 2%. Gasoline had reached $1.87 a gallon. We actually had many months where it was lower than that.
Oh yeah, I remember those months. I didn't use my car at all during that time. A lot of people didn't use their vehicle at all.
But we hit 187, which was a perfect place, an absolutely beautiful number.
It is a beautiful number. If we could just go back to the conditions that made gasoline $1.87. There's only two of those that I can think of. One is the U.S. having a GDP of $8 trillion instead of 26, and a worldwide pandemic. Either one of those would be awesome.
Real income surged by more than $4,200 each.
Somebody's asking what's the deal with his eyebrows, other than he's wearing Lloyd Bridges' eyebrows from Joe versus the Volcano. I don't know.
When I was president, Harris and Biden blew it all up. If Kamala wins the election, the worst is yet to come. You'll have a real problem.
I'll have a real problem, other than a broken world that apparently I already live in. All right. Again, did he? I know he never raised his children, but did he like? When he read if he read the Christmas Carol to his children, do you think he read it backwards? Guy starts out, all nice and weak and giving everything away, and then by the end, he's a successful businessman, and everybody leaves him alone.
Future, because people don't respect her in the world, people don't respect her in the economy. Economists are laughing. They can't even believe this is happening to our country, and she wants.
Yeah, a lot of them are laughing because they're happy about their 401ks.
Change a free enterprise type country into a communist type country. That's
a type.
She knows. She's considered far more radical than Bernie Sanders. That's all you have to know. Far more radical.
Well, then why did even her Medicare for All initial plan, was it a longer timeline of like 20 years as opposed to 5 or 10, which was Bernie's system? And then why did she give up on it if he's still, whatever?
And she picked somebody that's far more radical than Bernie Sanders. He approved a bill recently, tampons in boys' bathrooms. He wants tampons in boys' bathrooms.
And all bathrooms for kids that might need them. And therefore, if there's a reason why, let's say, the girls' bathroom, beyond the trans issue, girls' bathroom is shut down or whatever, and they have to have a teacher standing there and going, hey, you have to use it in shifts. The girls in, now boys in, girls in, now boys in. There'd still be tampons available. Seems reasonable.
It's terrible.
It is terrible, right? Why no young person who has a vagina should have access to free tampons. It's gross.
Terrible, but that's
It's terrible. It's so terrible. It's terrible. Boys are going to start using them for the wrong hole, and what will that lead to? Mass constipation on campuses, and idiots like me running around with them stuck in our noses, going, what? I had a bloody nose. It works like a charm.
person that she picked, surprising pick to me. I was shocked. He's also got one of the worst run states.
Thank God. I was worried what he was going to say.
People are leaving the state, sixth most. And from her state, she destroyed San Francisco. She destroyed, as the Attorney General, she destroyed California along with Gavin Newsom. And San Francisco, was a great city 15 years ago. Now,
All right. San Francisco was a great city 15 years ago when he was mayor and she was the DA. "15 years ago, it was great when Gavin Newsom was the mayor and she was the DA. It was great during the time period that they actually ran the place specifically."
considered almost unlivable. You can't live there.
Well, there's a lot of people who are alive there right now.
And what they've done to that great state with the beautiful weather like this weather, they have this weather
Yeah, we're trying to keep the weather.
all the time. And they have the ocean, they have the sun, they have everything good.
Yes, the ocean, the sun, everything good. Oh, I know what he means. No snow.
What they've done to it is a shame, and she's going to do the same thing to our country. It was
Sorry, make it. I mean, it can't rise in its. Yeah, it can't be higher than the #1 economy in the world. But I mean, you mean that kind of change, or you mean like Bakersfield kind of a change?
policies. They had a recent article, and I didn't know this, but you're allowed to rob a store as long as it's not more than $950. Has everyone ever heard of that? You can rob a store.
No, you cannot rob a store at all. Just saying. They're just going to try diversionary stuff up to $950, but it's still illegal. You're still going to go to jail. It's yeah. The cost of what it need to live and that kind of stuff, especially when it comes to like medications and salves and that kind of stuff, that there's a tendency amongst truly homeless people to steal things that are like salves and ointments and those kind of things, which can be increasingly expensive. So they raise the number from like 600 to 950. But you'll still go to jail. Yeah, you steal shit, you're going to jail.
And you have these thieves going into stores with calculators, calculating how much it.
No, they don't. The thieves don't care. They just go in and swipe a bunch of shit and run out. Yeah, they just take. They're not guessing at all. They're just bagging shit and blitzing. That's why the ones you're talking about are specifically the people who are in these giant organized crime gangs. And I don't know why I'm even arguing this shit.
Because if it's less than $950, they can rob it and not get charged. That was her that did that.
No.
Harris is campaigning on the largest tax increase in American history, including ending the Trump tax cuts, one of the largest tax cuts ever in our.
One of? What kind of bullshit? This is the biggest tax cut ever. What do you mean one of the largest? Why don't hide your light under a bushel? Do not. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, baby, I'm gonna let it shine. I passed the biggest tax cut. It'll blow your fucking mind. Go way beyond the Lord. Yeah, you. Why would you all of a sudden be like, yeah, this is, she's going to let this expire, but even one of the good ones? Oh, because you're trying to make the tax increase that they've been talking about on billionaires and millionaires specifically look larger by downplaying the size of your eyes at the expiration of, right, sure.
Country's history. And working with families, a gigantic capital gains tax hike they want, and a new wealth confiscation tax. It's called wealth confiscation tax, which isn't going to make all of her supporters.
No, it isn't.
She's got some supporters that are wealthy people because they're stupid people, but they're wealthy people.
Yeah, there's a lot of stupid wealthy people. I've heard of that. I'm not familiar. I mean, I don't know what example I could give as far as people who are like wealthy and stupid. Usually those kind of people are like, they're stupid and they're wealthy, but they're wealthy because, you know, they didn't make the wealth themselves. Their parents gave them that wealth, and they themselves are stupid. Don't know if everybody is picking up what I'm laying down, but I'm fairly certain there are stupid people that have a lot of money. I'm going to be so late.
She said that a 70 to 80% tax rate is, quote, a bold idea that should be discussed and studied. 70 to 80%.
On windfalls, which would be the windfall tax when people gouge prices. Short term.
She co-sponsored legislation to abolish very popular private health insurance, which 150 Americans rely on, dumping.
Really? Sorry, how many people?
The private health insurance, which 150 Americans rely on,
Wow, there are only 150 Americans that still have private insurance in this country? Geez, I don't know what to tell you. I'd say fuck them. Just 150. That sounds like a dying industry to me. This asshole's making the best argument for Medicare for all I've ever heard. We can't define the entire medical system in the United States for 150 people.
Popular private health insurance, which 150 Americans rely on, dumping everyone onto inferior socialist government-run healthcare systems with rationing and deadly wait times while massively raising your taxes. She wants to take away your private health care. There are many people.
No, private health insurance is what you're talking about here. That doesn't mean private health care wouldn't be a thing, obviously.
Country who spend a lot of money on private health care. It's the best health care in the world, by the way.
Well, it should be. The outcomes don't seem to bear that out, but
they want to do it. They worked hard to make money, and they want to do it.
Yeah, they'd worked hard desperately. They want to get cancer just so they can spend it on treatments that are more expensive here than they are in the Czech Republic.
Under her, you're not going to have private health care plans.
No.
And you can be a wealthy person or a middle-income person, and you want to spend on a really good plan, better than a government plan could be, far better. And you're not going to be allowed. You're all going to be thrown into a communist system. It's a communist system.
It's very communist. The whole thing is a communist system. It's super communist. You know what I mean? Where, you know, people can vote on it.
Thrown into a system where everybody gets health care. You wait for your doctor like 10 months, 12 months, 11 months. You got to see some of these plans, how they work in other countries. It's disgraceful.
They work in some countries really well, though.
Healthcare is gone. She wants it out. Now, she could change on that, and she might change on that. She's changed it.
You also might be mischaracterizing what she's saying. I gotta go. I'm gonna be late for sound check. I gotta go. I get carried away talking to you guys and doing this, and I love you, and I gotta go. So tomorrow, radio will either be done from here or from CPT, depending on what they need. But I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get Johnny Million to come down and join me here at Rob's space, since my shit's all set up here. Hopefully he can make it, and that'll be good. And excited, and I got to go do sound check, and I'm going to be late. Okay, all right. It's so weird when I can't do a whole show. I mean, and another thing. I gotcha. All right, hit that like, everybody. Thank you guys so much. Sorry I have to do a short show. Gotta go. And don't worry, I'll remember to shut off the stream this time.